Tonight on News 5 Live, a police officer escapes a near-fatal injury when a motorcycle collides into a delivery truck. All the noise about Compal Williams' fender bender and a shallow grave off the Hummingbird Highway reveals human remains of an unidentified male. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
We have breaking news from Channel 5 on Coney Drive. I repeat, we can confirm that the delivery of this Christmas package is almost complete. The most critical phase is about to commence. That is, getting it delivered in time.
May the gift of peace, the gift of joy, shine bright for you and your loved ones this Christmas and in the new year.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome.
Oran Windows.
Welcome.
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Why are you so excited?
Let me tell you a secret. I just got off the phone with Santa.
Hi, Santa. For Christmas, I want a pea shooter, a football.
Ho, ho, ho.
iPhone, and a
Oh, Ramon, 1 second.
We just learned that Santa's phone number has just been revealed. The number is 227-7132. Children all over.
I'm sorry, Dad. I shared Santa's phone number.
Champion security. Champion security.
Good day, Belize. Justin Sanders, Senior Technician at Champion Security here. On behalf of myself and the technicians, I would like to say a thank you to all our valid customers for choosing to trust Champion Security for all your security needs. As we approach the end of this year and preparing for the Christmas season, we urge you to make sure that your security systems are working properly. Feel free to contact us at the office for preventative maintenance servicing, as our well-trained, friendly and dedicated technicians are here to assist you. To our new customers who are planning or in need of assistance with choosing the best and suitable security systems for your needs, do not hesitate to call our office, for we here at Champion Security pride ourselves in the quality work to give you back that peace of mind.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, December 14th. I am Sabrina Daly. The past 24 hours have been most unfortunate for two police constables attached to the Eastern Division of the Belize Police Department. Just after 5 o'clock on Tuesday evening, Police Constable Darian Skeen was traveling on a motorcycle on the Philip Gosen Highway when he collided into a delivery truck that was making a left-hand turn on the highway. The motorcycle combusted upon impact and Skeen was flung to the pavement. The police constable is said to be in a critical but stable condition at the Carl Kushner Memorial Hospital.
Receive information that Darian Skeen, a police constable, attached to here at Eastern Division, was traveling on his motorbike when he and a truck driven at the time by a M&M engineer and driver. I think it's Ian Armstrong, if I'm certain. But I know that he collided into that vehicle and received severe body injuries, and he was transported to the KHMH, where several tests has been done on him, and we know that he needs further medical attention. He's listed in a critical but stable condition.
Has the police been able to establish who was at fault at this time?
Well, like I said, the investigators are doing their investigation, and as soon as they can rule out who's not at fault, we'll know who will be at fault for that accident. Right?
We did see that I believe the motorcycle combusted, right?
Yeah, upon impact it did explode. So you know that we have the fire department doing their part. It's a multi-agency investigation, but certainly we will not leave any rocks unturned to find out who is responsible for this accident.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams was involved in a fender bender while overtaking another vehicle on the George Price Highway over the weekend. There has been a lot of criticism targeted towards the top cop since the accident occurred. An image from the scene showed two solid double lines in the middle of the highway, an indication to motorists to take caution before overtaking. So did Compal Williams not heed that warning? And why was he not served with a notice of intended prosecution? Well, we caught up with him in Belmopan this morning where he gave us a detailed breakdown of what he says transpired.
We were traveling from an east to west direction. In Belize, we drive on the right. We don't drive on the left. We drive on the right-hand side of the road. So I began to overtake. Traffic was clear. I passed the first vehicle. As I was passing the second vehicle, which is the Kia, I saw the driver made an immediate turn to the left, as if he was going to turn into Maya Hill, which is on the left. Now the law is, this is no what anybody's opinion, the law is, if you are driving and you are going to make a left turn, you must pull off the road and give way to oncoming traffic.
On a highway?
On a highway. And you must also make sure you use your rear view mirror to look to the back to see if anything may be overtaking you before you make that turn. The driver did not do that. He just made the turn without looking in his rear view mirror and could not have seen me coming, and that was what caused the collision. Now, I know much has been said about the yellow line. Where the vehicles were parked was not where the accident happened. We pulled off there. But let me educate some people and remove the cap of ignorance from off their heads. There is nothing in law about those lines on the road. Those lines are just guide for drivers. The rules or the law relating to overtaking is one, you must not overtake along a curve. You must not overtake on the blow of a hill. You must not overtake when traffic is coming the opposite direction or where you cannot see. So long as you have a clear view ahead that nothing is coming, you can overtake. And I am sure that every driver in this country at some point in time have overtaken a vehicle on those double lines. And if you can show me one driver who have not done it, I'm going to show them heaven and lead them to heaven.
Police are reporting the discovery of human remains believed to be that of a man who was reported missing about 2 years ago. Just after midday on Tuesday, officers visited a farm located at mile 41 on the Hummingbird Highway, Cayo District. They were directed to an area at the end of an orange orchard where they discovered a shallow grave with what appeared to be human remains. Police say that the scene was photographed and the bones were retrieved and taken to the Western Regional Hospital morgue. Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood shared details with the media.
They were led to what they believe was human remains, particularly of a male. And yes, the person that led them to these remains explained that this person may have been reported missing some time ago. So we are going through our records and archives to see if we can find the identity of the remains that we have in custody. But as soon as we find that out, I will relay that to you, okay?
So we're understanding that the remains were found in a shallow grave. Almost always when you hear shallow grave, you're thinking foul play.
Like I said, when we are doing our examinations, I'm certain that the doctors will do a post-mortem on the remains. And hopefully we can confirm whether or not foul play was done to that person or if it's natural.
The communications director of the Belize Police Department also confirmed with the media today that Police Constable Walford Smart is spending his first night behind bars after he was criminally charged and arraigned in court today. Smart is being remanded in connection with a firearm that went missing from the police exhibit, ended up in the city streets, and recovered by police. ASP Fitzroy Yearwood shared details, including that Smart is to reappear in court on January 13, 2023.
I wouldn't want to discuss the full details, but I know it's for a firearm deemed to have been an exhibit that came back in the circles of the street and ended up back in our custody again. he has been named as the person responsible for that, and he was charged and taken in front of court number 2, where he was remanded until the 13th of January 2023. I will give you a timely update on this because we know that this is a matter in front of the open court, so I wouldn't want to give out any information that would hurt or help this case.
So it's that Mr. Smart has basically went against his duties to take out this exhibit and furnish it?
It would look like that right now, and definitely he will be charged internally for those kinds of action.
Coming up, is free education creating gang conflicts in schools?
Don't know what to get the special someone for Christmas? Habet and Habet and Brothers Habet have you covered this Christmas.
Season greetings. Hey Dad, remember the shelves you made to tell me about? Yo, Corey, you got anything to make us saw? Hey guys, your favorite saw daddy here. Back with a brand new saw from Brothers Habet. My wife got this for me for Christmas. The saw man is here.
All month long, give the gift of power with 15% off all power tools, 15% off all decorative paints, 15% off all sunlight windows and doors, 20% off all mirrors, and 15 to 60% off Westinghouse and Design House light fixtures. Plus, with every $50 you spend, you get a chance to win a $500 gift certificate every day in our big 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. So come in today and save big. A merry and safe Christmas from the family at Habet and Habet and Brothers Habet.
Yo, Jamrock, saw through anything right now.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. A jingle bell swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. A jingle bells chiming, jingle bell time. Dancing and dancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time. It's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. A jingle around the clock.
Quayle's Distillery Limited, the true spirit of Belizean Christmas.
Digi will be giving away over $50,000 in cash and prizes this Christmas, and we want you to help us spread the holiday cheer. This season, every prize winner gets the opportunity to pay it forward to a family or friend. It's easy. You win and you select someone to win the same prize. Now that's exciting. This Christmas, be gifted and pay it forward only with Digi. Season's greetings from our national telecom.
Hi, I'm Devin Daly, athlete, friend, Belizean, and I'm here to talk to you about gun violence. I'm originally from the south side in Belize City, an era very prone to violence. Most people from my block definitely got caught up in the life. I knew I wanted a better life for myself and for my family, so I made sure I surrounded myself with good friends and focused on sports as a means to get away from a violent life. I chose to reject the violence around me and work to build a life that would keep on going with me. You always have a choice, miles before the trigger is pulled. Enough keeping the score. Let's do our part to put an end to gun violence in Belize.
Ray, what's wrong? It's him. He hit me again. Oh my gosh. This time it was worse. He slammed my face in the wall, and for him to kill me. If you or someone you know is experiencing family violence, call 0800 A Way Out, or you can text or WhatsApp to 672-9628.
My name is Carlton Jack Young, and I've been fishing in these waters for over 40 years. I used to work fishing when I was about 15 years old. I was the #1 fisherman for the Cove for many years. I was a member of the Fishery Advisory Board who makes decisions on these fishing areas.
Fishermen like Jack Young can tell you about a time when it seemed Belize's bounty was never ending.
And when we get alongside the boat and we check, we had 100 mutton snappers.
But he can also tell you about the alarming differences in the number of available reef fish, such as the Nassau grouper, from then to now.
The fishermen, they go out there and they sit there for hours before they could catch some of them. They are not there like they used to.
Nassau groupers reproduce between the months of December and March. To ensure a good catch the following season, fishing of Nassau groupers is closed during the spawning season and carefully regulated the rest of the year. During the open fishing season, Nassau groupers must be landed whole and may not be less than 20 inches or greater than 30 inches. In Belize, there are 13 spawning aggregation sites where Nassau groupers and other reef fish are protected. These are Rocky Point, Monga Key, Dog Flea, Key Buckell, Northern Two Key, Sandbore, South Point, Key Glory or Emily, Northeast Point, Gladden Spit, Nicholas Key, Seal Key, and Rise and Fall Bank. Consumers have a part to play as well. By declining to purchase the critically endangered Nassau grouper, especially non-regulation size, you help ensure populations have a chance to restock. By adhering to regulations and protecting spawning sites, we can support fish stock replenishment and the livelihoods of future fishermen.
If they do it the right way, we might have it for a little longer. But if they don't do proper control, we'll lose it entirely.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams recently returned from a regional commissioners conference in Miami. During the conference, Compol Williams engaged in a number of discussions on issues related to violent crimes within the Caribbean. The discourse also had a cybercrime component to it, And one of the pressing issues for Compal Williams is the proliferation of illegal firearms into Belize from the United States. It is a growing issue that must be stemmed, says Compal Williams. Today, he told reporters that he raised the matter with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives in the U.S.
I attended the ACCP Intersessional Conference in Miami, and no, it was not held at Dolphin Mall. It was held at the Sherrington Hotel at the International Airport. The conference basically was centered around the whole issue of dealing with violent crime within the Caribbean. We also touched on the issue of cybercrime and transnational organized crime, as well as the proliferation of firearms within the Caribbean region. We had presentations from ATF, and one of my pressing issues to the persons from ATF was the fact that there is poor accountability on their part in terms of the firearms leaving the U.S. and the easy accessibility of firearms by persons in the U.S. that they can just go and buy a firearm, and there is no accountability in terms of what becomes of that firearm. And most time those firearms are what end up on our streets, and people are killed by those firearms. So we had asked that there is greater accountability from ATF working in conjunction with the ACCP to see how we can develop some portal or some system that will be able to track these firearms more easily when they leave the U.S. And also for us domestically to ensure that we put more stringent measures in place to be able to search containers and vehicles that are coming into the country, because for the most part that is how the firearms are being smuggled from the U.S. Well, we know the ones from the Guatemala or Central America comes through the porous borders, but from the U.S. they're coming through our lawful borders, and again due to the fact that we're not conducting proper searches on containers and vehicles that have been brought into the country.
As to the issue of violent crimes across the region, Compal Williams says Belize is at the bottom of the list for 2022. According to the commissioner, countries in the Caribbean that were trailing Belize in violent crimes are now ahead, while some of the more violent Caribbean states are now logging record or close to record numbers. He gave us his view on what has changed in Belize.
I am happy to see that in the past, when we used to have crime within the Caribbean region, it used to be Jamaica, Trinidad, Belize. We were always at number 3 in terms of the violent crimes. But this year, I can say that Belize is down compared to Bahamas. And Bahamas do have a smaller landmass than Belize. It has a smaller population than Belize. And the police force of Bahamas is almost 2 times the size of the Belize Police Department. And despite that, at this present moment, Bahamas have almost 130 murders at this point. Compared to us, I think we're at 106. So we're doing fairly good in terms of dealing with the violent crimes. And I want to thank the whole issue in terms of the multi-sectoral approach and the fact that we have been able to look more at deploying our people based on intelligence into the different gang-ridden areas. We have been charging persons under the gang law. So all of those things are factors that are leading to the reduction in murders. But we're not going to sing our praises as yet, because there certainly is a lot more to be done. Just today I spoke with the minister, and I spoke also to the Deputy Prime Minister to see how we can create the other layer, because we now have the LIU, we have the multi-sectoral approach, but we also need to have the cabinet layer where the ministers with responsibility of the different agencies that are part of the multi-sectoral approach are to appoint a liaison person from their ministry who is going to be able to look at what is needed on the grounds and then get back to the minister and see how they can provide it.
One of the reasons cited for the decrease in violent crimes, particularly in Belize City, is the free education program implemented in 4 high schools. But with progress comes its own problems. The increased access to education has funneled some not so well-behaved youth into the school system, which has taken some street rivalries into the schools. Compal Williams tells us more.
We certainly do believe that parenting is an issue. The whole truancy in terms of children not being in school who are supposed to be in school is an issue. The gangs are recruiting children more and more and more. I am happy to see that in Belize we have moved away from that to some extent. It is still there, but when we have the pilot project with the free education on the south side, that have increased enrollment in schools by almost double. So we have more children going to school now. But it has also triggered another problem where we're seeing that we're having a lot of fights in school. So that is another issue we're trying to address now. Because we now have different characters and different groups in schools, and so they are creating some sort of problems. We met with the principals in Belize City last week. We're looking at a way how we can address the issue. We certainly don't believe that removing the children from school is the solution. We're going to see how we can help from the police department to ensure that they provide some level of policing to the school. Now, we're not there yet where we can say we're going to put a policeman at every school. But we certainly will try to use our community policing officers to be at schools, particularly when schools are letting out. And we're going to ensure we have patrols within the school area by the officers who are patrolling that particular area while the students are being let out. And we're hoping that that will help to diffuse some of the issues. But again, parents need to play a more active role in speaking to their children, trying to raise their children to do the right thing.
As many as 77 schools across Belize City and other parts of central Belize were affected by Hurricane Lisa in early November. That is according to Minister of Education Francis Fonseca, who referred to a final report that has been submitted on the extent of damages caused by the natural disaster on school buildings. In dollars and cents, Fonseca says that government is looking at approximately $3 million in damages.
The report we received, the final report we received, suggested that there were 77 schools that received varying levels of damage. Obviously, some received more significant damage. I think the most significant damage was to the Belize Rural Primary School. Their entire roof was destroyed. So that was significant damage, and we had a few other schools at that level. But for the most part, it was medium to low level damage that occurred, meaning that windows were broken, doors were damaged, flooding, that sort of thing. So the estimate is overall is about $3 million worth of damage. We've put that assessment has been given over to the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But we have not waited, obviously, for those monies to come in. We have been working with various partners, so we've gotten support from different entities in Belize. We've gotten some donations. Plus, we have, in our own budget, we have a few $100,000 that we have allocated to addressing some of the more urgent needs.
Police Intake 196 is making history by becoming the first cohort to receive structured training in human rights and the use of force. The Human Rights and Use of Force curriculum has been under development for some time. It was officially launched today at the National Police Training Academy, where the coursework will be first implemented. Through the course, Intake 196 will gain a greater understanding of their responsibility to protect and preserve the human rights of all Belizeans. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Larry Gillett, Alison Major, Derek Wu. There is an internet docu-series from Vice where they took 6 ex-inmates and had them rank themselves, guessing who served the most time in jail. An interesting discussion between the participants was how dehumanizing their time in prison was. One participant claimed that being able to wear shoes of his choosing was the one thing that made him feel the most like a human. Just wearing shoes.
The Belize Police Department today launched this Human Rights and Use of Force curriculum
for intake 196 at the National Police Training Academy.
The new Human Rights and Use of Force policy incorporates our related policies that are inside the Policy and Procedures Manual, such as bias-free policing, the Code of Conduct for police officers, the LGBTQI policy, sexual harassment, anti-corruption, and public recording of police activities, to name a few. We simultaneously develop the fundamental communications material, including the handbook, which will be issued to all current and new police officers. Following the development of the curriculum, several regional and lead training officers were trained in the new curriculum and will today receive their certificates. They are now charged with the responsibility of cascading this training to the rank and file of the department.
Chester Williams, the Commissioner of Police, reminded the young recruits that while the Constitution of Belize empowers police officers with the authority to restrain a person, that power must not be employed arbitrarily. This is the basis of the new curriculum.
As a police department, we are empowered by law with the right to restrain people, to take away persons' freedom of movements as guaranteed by Section 4 of the Belize Constitution. You know the Constitution speaks to the right to personal liberty. But while the Constitution gives us that authority, it outlined the circumstances when we as police officers can lawfully take away that right from an individual. But not because we are so empowered. It means that we must exercise such power arbitrarily. To whom power is given, it is always expected that such power will be exercised in a reasonable fashion.
The completion of this professional development training will be equivalent to a social science or human rights course offered by a tertiary education institution in Belize. The coursework is also regionally accredited. Dr. Priscilla Brown, the Dean of Academics at the Belize Police Training Academy, shared a few of the goals governing the course.
Goal 1, interpret core tenets of the International Human Rights Framework. Goal 4, apply professional, social, and ethical standards in the practice of the profession about the victim's welfare and human rights. Goal 5, demonstrate competence and broad understanding of victim welfare and human rights and their effect on the law, administration, and public safety. Goal 7, effective policing through compliance and international human rights standards. And for example, Goal 8, demonstrate respect for human dignity and fundamental human rights.
Human rights. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
After the break, DSC to offer student loans on financing from CDB.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. My lights, I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. We going to the stars, what we gon' do right? We gon' light a life, only with my light. We going to the stars, what we gon' do right? We gon'
The deals continue this massive season, starting December 12th until December 24th. It's 12 straight days of massive deals with up to 25% off on selected items each day, from grills to appliances and more. Every day, you get a new opportunity to take advantage of new items on sale. Check out our website and social media platforms for updates each day. Deals, P-Bucks, rewards, everything is massive this season at Benny's.
Come and see. I need to show you something. A product that is destroying our planet. To make space for it, millions of trees are cut down. To grow it, chemicals poison the land, the soil, the water. To produce it, the air becomes saturated with toxins. And when it's discarded, our environment is polluted in ways that we can't afford. Tobacco costs us more than 8 million lives every year. It also costs us 600 million trees, 200,000 hectares of land, 84 million tons of CO2, 22 billion tons of water. Tobacco is not only poisoning people, it's poisoning our planet.
So no hear about this Broke Down Bram Festival that the House of Culture, Saturday the 17th of December, starting at 6 p.m. Yes, true Creole Christmas style. I mean all of the Broke Down artists there. Lord Ray-Ban, the Boomer Chime Band, Brother David, Brad Patico, Coconut Boy, Daggy, Broke Down Girl, Sam Harris, plus more. Yes, giving you all the old time and new time Broke Down hits. All of the nice Belizean food, cooked on fire heart. The Creole pastries they want today, along with some authentic arts and craft Creole vendors. Yes, this is a true Creole Christmas. Saturday the 17th at the House of Culture, 6 o'clock. I invite out the entire family for come at this one, yeah. So immediately after the Love FM Christmas parade, uno head straight to the Bram. Only $10 for adults and $5 for kids. It's the Broke Down Bram Festival, keeping Broke Down music alive. Sponsored by the Institute of Creative Arts, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, the Belize Tourism Board, the National Institute of Culture and History, Love FM and Travelers Liquors.
The Senate met today at the National Assembly building in Belmopan. A minute of silence was observed in honor of the late Sylvia Flores, who served as the first female Speaker of the House from 1998 to 2001, as President of the Senate from 2001 to 2003, as first female area representative for Dangriga from 2003 to 2008, and acting Prime Minister of Belize. Flores passed away on December 6th. The first order of business thereafter was the oath of allegiance of Ian Jones as Senator for the UDP for today's session, the last for 2022. Leader of Government Business, Senator Eamon Courtney, gave the details of a loan of $7 million in the first instance and another for $5 million to finance the Development Finance Corporation, DFC's student loan program.
Key terms and conditions of the loan agreement are as follows. Loan amount, an amount equivalent to $7 million or US $3.5 million for OCR and $5 million US $2.5 million from SCSFR. Repayment term 68 equal or approximately equal and consecutive quarterly installments commencing 5 years after the date of the loan agreement. Interest rate, variable rate on the OCR portion, disbursement outstanding from time to time, and a fixed rate of 0.75 per annum on the SFR portion, disbursement outstanding from time to time. Frequency, payment frequency, quarterly, commitment fee, 0.25% per annum on any amount of the OCR portion undisbursed from time to time. Such fee shall accrue from the 60th day after the date of this loan agreement and shall be payable quarterly. Implementation, implement and administer the project in accordance with the bank's student loan scheme guideline, and maintain procedures acceptable to the bank for processing and making sub-loans.
There was a second set of loans that was supported during today's Senate sitting. It comes from the Inter-American Development Bank, which has implemented a global credit program. This first portion is for 30 million Belize dollars and is to support the sustainability of micro, small, and medium enterprises. As part of the IDB line of credit, the bank has coordinated with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan in arranging co-financing on a parallel basis for the same purposes of the IDB program. This is for a line of credit of 10 million Belize dollars for the recovery of these micro, small, and medium enterprises after the COVID pandemic, with particular focus on women and green financing. This loan will also be accompanied by a grant component of 1 million Belize dollars funded by Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to assist DFC to strengthen its digitization system. Following the presentation of the details of the loans, Senator for the Business Sector Kevin Herrera rose to support the motion, as did the UDP Senator Ian Jones, but reiterated the requests made by his fellow UDP colleague who asked for equal access for every student to the student loans.
We do support and applaud the government in this approach. However, we want to express, just as before with the education, that equal access and availability to these type of finances is across the board and it's not politicized. And I personally want to speak on it because as a young entrepreneur growing up, I had access to government financing loans similarly, and 15, 20 years later, the investment I did in that, through that, you know, it expanded into a tour company that still existed right up to COVID. So as long as there's no political imbalance in terms of how people are able to access this type of financing, then by all means, we fully support it.
I think that post-COVID and the economic difficulties the economy has undergone over the previous 2 years, I think this type that will be available to the private sector, I think is extremely timely. Similar to the motion before with respect to education, this type of facility will offer the productive sector and those in the private sector ability to expand, grow, and stay afloat. Maybe look at other areas that they could get in that could bring economic benefits not only to themselves but also to the country. If you put this type of money into the private sector, that it will also provide employment to a lot of people who need those employment. And if you look at this, we're talking about the productive sector, which will inevitably and probably predominantly be in the rural areas.
Belize has been without an ombudsman since April 2021, when Lionel Arzu demitted that office. The role of the ombudsman is to receive and investigate complaints by people who feel that they have been wronged or have sustained injury or abuse by an authority. The role of the ombudsman is especially important for people who have no access to attorneys or funds to pay an attorney to look into their situation. But as of January 2023, the post will be filled by retired Major H. Gilbert Suazo. During the Senate's proceedings, Leader of Government Business, Senator Eamon Courtney, rose to officially make the announcement.
The Ombudsman shall be appointed by the Governor General, acting on the recommendations of both houses of the National Assembly contained in resolutions passed in that behalf. And whereas both houses of the National Assembly intend to advise the Governor General to appoint Major Herman Gilbert Suazo, retired as Ombudsman for a period of 3 years with effect from the 1st January 2023. And whereas Major Herman Gilbert Suazo, retired, is 61 years of age and falls within the age limit prescribed by the Ombudsman Act. And whereas Major Herman Gilbert Suazo fulfills the requirements for appointment of the Office of Ombudsman as prescribed in the Ombudsman Act. And whereas Section 61A, 2, C, and 3 of the Belize Constitution provided the Ombudsman can only be validly appointed with the prior approval of the Senate. Now therefore be it resolved that this Honorable Senate, being satisfied that Major Herman Gilbert Swasso is a fit and proper person to be appointed as Ombudsman, hereby approves that the said Major Herman Gilbert Swasso be appointed as Ombudsman for a period of 3 years with effect from the 1st January 2023.
While Senators Moses Bengushe for the Churches and Erica Zhang and Colette Montejo for the PUP supported the appointment of Major Swasso, Senator Jones questioned whether consideration was given to anyone else on grounds that the government has previously appointed retired public servants to posts that he believed can be filled by young, qualified ones. Senator for the NGO community, Janelle Chanona, in expressing support in the appointment of an ombudsman, also reiterated the importance that the office holds and expressed hope that Major Swasso will rise to the occasion, to the task, and meet the expectations and the requirements of the role. The Torremolinos International Convention for the Safety of Fishing Vessels was adopted in 1977 and later amended over time. It was the first international convention to establish clear requirements and standards for the safety of fishing vessels. Today in the Senate, Leader of Government Business, Senator Eamon Courtney, presented a motion to have the convention ratified by Belize.
Whereas the 2012 Cape Town Agreement will finally establish an international maritime organization, mandatory instrument for fishing vessels, providing consolidated unified standards on designs and construction and equipment of fishing vessels, including regulations designed to protect the safety of crews and observers and provide a level playing field for the industry. The agreement will also contribute to the battle against illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. And whereas the government of Belize is desirous of ratifying the agreement, whereas the ratification of the agreement will permit Belize to further demonstrate its commitment to the International Maritime Organization and the maritime industry by promoting consolidated higher safety standards for fishing vessels, more robust qualifications for personnel, better living conditions for crews, and a port state control inspection program. The agreement will also strengthen the combat against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing activities. And whereas Section 61A, 2A of the Belize Constitution, as amended by the Belize Constitution, 6th Amendment Act No. 13 of 2008, provides that the Senate shall authorize the accession to any treaty by the government of Belize. Now therefore be it resolved that the Senate authorizes the government of Belize to ratify the agreement.
Senator Janelle Chanona, who represents the non-government organizations and who has been vocal in campaigning for the protection of the oceans and the environment, supported the motion because it calls for proper practices to be enforced and proper outfitting of fishing vessels, which means safer fishing for the people on board.
But when you really get into this issue of what's happening on the high seas, you will see that because of the improvements in technology and the ability of these vessels to stay at sea for years, because they can refuel, they can restock on the high seas, that has led to human trafficking, modern day slavery, narcotics trading. It is surreal that in these modern times, these very age-old plagues like piracy and like slavery are still with us because of what's happening on the high seas. So I think the government is to be congratulated. I know this has been in the works since 2019, that we're moving ahead with this, because it will definitely put the compliance on where it needs to be and be a critical step forward. And I note and I call out for the Senate that the agreement is such that because Belize has ratified it, even ships that call on Belize, whose countries, whose flags have not ratified the agreement, they are still held to those standards. So I think it also benefits and creates this transparency and an effort to improve the working conditions and the welfare of these persons at sea.
There was also the presentation of a supplementary appropriation bill, which comprised three sums of money. One for $13 million under the recurrent expenditure and an additional $42.8 million under the Cap 2 budget, and another $14.8 million under Cap 3 budget. These add up to $70.5 million. Courtney explained that Senator Chris Koyi, who is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, called a meeting to explain the appropriation, but that only 2 senators attended that meeting. UDP Senator Beverly Williams shared her concerns about the government having to come back to present supplementary bills, and thereafter, PUP Senator Colette Montejo rose to explain why the bill was necessary.
It is a fact that in March of 2022, we came to this honorable House for a budget with $1.4 billion. It is a fact that 4 supplementals, this one at 66.5, the first one at 68.6, the second one at 76.2, and the third one was 28.7. A total of $240 million, Madam President. There are only 3 months more left in this fiscal year. Will we be getting another one? It seems that it comes every quarter. And so there are concerns about the forecasters and what's happening there. It's a total of 8 supplementals over the last 2 years.
We come here and we speak about the government, when in fact these monies are allocated for the use of the public service, of which all of us are the government. When vehicles are parked, it's not for ministers, it's for the public servants to be able to get their job done. So what's the problem? And I can go through this budget and I do not see. Listen, it is emphasized and stressed over and over again. And anyone with any kind of financial knowledge, and I'm not one, I took a few courses in accounting here and there, but everybody knows that when a budget is settled, it's simply a guide.
When we return, Feinstein Groups presents generous donation to Citco for disaster relief.
I had a black dog. His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. He could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I'd chase him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, this was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learnt not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks, so it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants, so go for a walk or a run and leave the mutt behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to reevaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, but he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heal. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
Let's celebrate Christmas together with Smart's amazing season deals. Check out our showrooms and get deals for as low as $99 and get free credit, SMS, and data. If you already have a phone, you can join the Smart family. Swap your SIM and get a free SIM plus $100 promo credit. Get 50% off your first and second month when you sign up for selected postpaid plans. That's a promotion you know I miss. Free not done with Smart. Get free installation and 1 month free when switching from another internet provider. Plus, with every SIM swap, device purchase, broadband or postpaid sign up, you automatically get entered into our raffle for a chance to win a Samsung S22, a year free Smart broadband, or $500 cash. Make it one Christmas together, only with Smart. Smart management and staff, thank you tremendously for all the love you shared during the year. We look forward to serving you as you power your dollar in 2023.
This morning at City Hall, the Feinstein Group handed over a check for $50,000 to the Belize City Council to assist with disaster relief efforts in the wake of Hurricane Lisa that ravaged the old capital a little over 6 weeks ago. Presenting the monetary donation to Mayor Bernard Wagner was Ben Feinstein. According to the head of municipal government, the contribution will go a long way with helping victims of the recent natural disaster.
Cleanup has really tapered off as we close out again at around 64,000 tons of debris out of the city. So that has been clear, but now we still have gaps that need to be filled. I know NEMO has been doing its part, but there still remains that level of a lot of paperwork, and people need relief quickly as possible, and that is where the city really comes in being able to be the local entity that is able to drive this type of effort and initiative where those people that are in need are able to get quick relief. At the end of the day, we don't really want to leave anyone behind, especially as we near the Christmas season and the holiday season. People are still living without adequate roofing. Some still have the tarp on top of their roof, and those are the areas we are focused on providing the leaf, zinc here and there, the plywood, the lumber here and there. This check here would go a long way in us able to realizing that objective.
They've been working effortlessly to get the city back in order, cleaning up, helping with the families that need relief, and they've been doing it with the resources that they have. And so we're hoping now that this donation can go a long way, because there's still families out there in need. And so, we encourage other businesses to come in and assist.
Our damage assessment needs committee did do its assessment along a line with NEMO, and the big picture, the overarching picture, based on those figures, that the last figures we received was in the neighborhood of 32 million, right? And that encompasses the 4 levels of destruction caused by Hurricane Lisa. We know we are nowhere near being able to provide that type of relief. Our government is working hand in hand with the city and with NEMO to ensure that those heavy areas are covered on a long-term basis. But in the short term, we have to be that engine. We're really there to provide that for the residents.
A memorandum of understanding was signed earlier today between the Ministries of Education and Sports, the Football Federation of Belize, and the Belize Basketball Federation. The MOU will see the government of Belize, through the previously mentioned ministries, providing financial assistance to as many as 30 students pursuing tertiary education in the United States. The monthly assistance is to help the athletic students with living expenses.
When we approach him about the potential of the Ministry of Education teaming up with the FFB to support our student athletes, from the very first meeting, he did not hesitate in saying, yes, we will be on board, we will push as much as we can. This has been a little over 6 months now, and now we are actually putting it into black and white, and our student athletes from the football community, I'm sure, are listening out there right now, and I'm sure are more than pleased that starting January, the government of Belize is going to assist all those students that are on partial scholarship with a 600 Belize dollars monthly subsidy or stipend. So far for this year, we sent out 22 students to do bachelor's, master's, and a couple will do at the associate level, but the majority are at the bachelor's level. Next year, we want the program to continue, and we are already signing today that the ministry is committing themselves that they will continue with the support of the new student athletes that will enroll for August 2023 at the U.S. universities. So that will basically give our athletes a huge incentive to continue doing good in sports. And we must say also continue doing good in school and also doing good in life.
Many of us don't have access to education. And for us to give 30, 16 and under kids the opportunity to get a tuition scholarship up to bachelor's degree in Belize is monumental, and it touches me. It impacts me a lot because I never had that opportunity, and I need these kids to understand the investment that this government is making in them. It's not something that we should take for granted. It doesn't happen every day.
Minister of Transportation Rodwell Ferguson provided a brief update on the public transportation industry in light of changes that will come into effect with respect of an upgrade to fleets of buses that will be introduced in early 2023. According to Minister Ferguson, commuters will observe new buses on the roads as early as January 1st.
Say we want to see a gradual approach. Say expect January 1st, you are on different buses on the highway.
What role is the ministry
so far though with the buses?
Huh?
Have they started? Have you seen any physical change with the buses?
Yeah,
so
I
far?
see Tillit from Orange bringing at least 2 or 3 already. Then Serho Chuk will bring another 3 or so by January 1st. And then the others are now negotiating with this operator right here in Belize.
What kind of role is the ministry playing in all of this? What kind of support is being given to the bus owners?
Initially, we are hoping that in the end we can come and say government is going to subsidize or contribute.
Any update in relation to the Floralia running up north?
There's a transport board, and I don't dictate to them, they decide. I know right now it's before the board, and I know what will be the final result. Whatever the result is, it's to benefit Belizean people.
For most Belizeans, Christmas is not Christmas without rice and beans, potato salad, cranberry, stuffing, and a protein, be it ham, turkey, or even chicken. The folks over at Bowen & Bowen understand that, and so for the past 13 years, they have been successfully carrying out their Jingle Box program that sees hundreds of families get the provisions needed to have that warm meal on Christmas Day. Valued at about $80 to $100, these boxes will be donated to the neediest at this time through partnerships with well-known non-profit organizations. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Boxes filled with complete Christmas meals are being stocked into trucks and distributed across the country to hundreds of families. It's Bowen & Bowen's annual Jingle Box program, which is celebrating its 13th year.
Our staff members, or members actually, recognizes the fact that in this country, we do have people who are really in need. This is a very important time of the year. It's a time of the year where people foresee family. People have got great memories, great remembrance. And our members of B&B decided, hey, why not try to help other families, provide them with a warm Christmas meal? And the initiative went like wildfire, so much so that the monies raised by staff is actually matched by the company. And so therefore we are able to purchase the necessary ingredients for a warm Christmas meal.
For many families, 2022 has been a challenge, and the recent hurricane has not made things any better. Once again, the Bowen & Bowen Group is partnering with several charitable organizations that work with vulnerable populations. After a symbolic handing over, representatives from these organizations shared words of gratitude and spoke about the beneficiaries of the Jingle Boxes.
So we have been doing a lot of work in the communities, giving out food packages, cleaning kits, and the need is great and we don't have enough supply, so this will go a long way with what we're doing and our efforts.
Across the country we have over 38,000 older persons, and so we are cognizant of those who are in need, the needy and the most needy, and we will identify those that are deserving of the hampers.
We recognize the fact that apart from providing surgical intervention and helping in the healthcare arena, families do have needs, and a lot of our families are less fortunate, and this is a perfect opportunity for us to help on all levels. We provide the health care. You guys are providing this treat for them.
Our primary focus is the feeding program at the St. Joseph RC School. And so during this program, we have families, we help provide lunches for the children that go to the school. And so these boxes will be going to those families, to help provide them some comfort and some stability, with the food.
Well, for the past month and a half since the hurricane, we've done a lot of work at the parish in identifying families, both at the grade school and in the parish and in the neighborhood that need help. And so we're actually organizing a pretty big distribution at Christmas of course, food, but clothing and other items. And so we rely on generous donations from different companies around the city, and this will definitely play a part in the our ability. It'll increase our ability to help more.
The annual holiday tradition by Bowen and Bowen is aimed at providing joy to those dealing with uncertain times. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Just ahead, the U.S. Embassy makes a significant donation to the Belize Police Department.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
How are we to measure the success of our lives? For many, an ordinary life should have the following: a job, a house, enough money to buy a new car. But what if we threw out the ordinary? What could escaping ordinary at our jobs do? How about for our marriages? What if I told you we could all be escaping ordinary? Join us as we begin our new series.
In 2018, before I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was a size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days. And after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. You have to take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The United States Embassy in Belize handed over a significant donation to the Belize Police Department today in Belmopan. The donation, which is estimated at a little over $1 million, will certainly bolster the department's crime-fighting efforts if used effectively. It includes buildings, vehicles, and a number of other equipment used within the department on a daily basis. News 5's Paul Lopez was in Belmopan this morning and filed the following report.
This is a state-of-the-art Comstat office situated inside a newly constructed building, which the United States Embassy in Belize handed over to the Belize Police Department this morning in Belmopan.
As the governments of Belize and the United States have worked together to expand and advance comparative statistics, or simply Comstat, police management model, this building is a real physical representation of your progress in all areas of policing. These areas are crucial to the ultimate success of Belize's goal to reduce crime and increase the confidence of the citizens of Belize in the police department. And the core of our work together with the Belize Police Department is helping to increase its professionalism.
The Commissioner of Police says that this Comstat office will be essential in the Belize Police Department's crime-fighting efforts. One of its uses will be to provide live data from across the country to guide regional commanders in the deployment of their resources.
This building is going to house one representative from each region. So we have one from the southern region, one from the western region, one from the northern region. And when it comes to Belize City, we have 4 divisions in Belize City. So we'll have one from each division as well. So when something is occurring within a particular region or division, the Comstat officer here can then notify the commander on the ground. We're seeing this pattern, we're seeing this trend. Burglaries are happening in this area, robberies are happening here. And with that, then the commander will be able to say, you know what? This is our problem area, so let us concentrate our resources here.
While it is customary to think of policing as boots on the ground, in the digital age, information is a vital part of the Belize Police Department's response and preventative endeavors. But for this high-tech system to be effective, the officers manning it must be competent in its functions.
We have upped the level of qualification for our recruits. We have recruited a number of well-qualified persons, and separate and apart from that, a number of our officers who may have came in with a lower level of education have gone back to school and now have a higher level of education. And so the police department is pretty much well educated. And so these equipment that we're seeing here is nothing new to some of these officers. What we try to do is that for the vacant posts, when we know the building was going to be inaugurated, we advertise the posts within our ranks and for qualified persons to apply.
This latest investment from the U.S. Embassy comes at a cost of $883,000. The donation also includes 4 prefabricated office buildings, office equipment, 4 pickup trucks, and 1 van.
At our Research, Planning, Legal Affairs and Compliance branch, RPLAC, we are receiving a total of 2 prefab buildings complete with office furniture, computers, desktops and laptops with software, along with 1 vehicle. At our Professional Standards branch, PSB, which is the unit responsible for the internal discipline of police officers, they will be receiving a donation of 1 prefab office building, along with computers and office furniture, 3 vehicles for immediate deployment to PSB offices out district in the northern, southern, and western regions. Thirdly, our in-service training unit, which is the department's newest unit for training, planning, and support, they will be receiving a donation of 1 prefab building, 96 rolls of crime scene tapes for CIB and First Responders Training Project.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Christmas came early this year for approximately 125 primary school children from Belize City and neighboring villages in the Belize district when they were handed gifts at the Yabra multi-purpose complex. It was a festive occasion as there were performances from the police cadet marching band, and Santa Claus himself was there to issue the gifts on behalf of the Belize Police Department. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Their faces lit up as Santa Claus entered the Yabra multipurpose complex in Belize City. Gifts and apples were there for all 100-plus primary school students who were in attendance as the National Community Policing Unit carried out its initiative to bring joy to those children. It's part of a strategy to reach as many young people as possible.
We've selectively chosen them. We know that COVID has hit us hard. We also know that Hurricane Lisa was hard on us. So we went into those areas and we hand-selected the kids who are here today. It's a pity that we couldn't reach to all the kids that were affected, but we believe Christmas is not only for a few people, it's for everyone. The kids are from the neighboring villages to Belize City, like Hattieville, Mahogany Heights, Ladyville, Biscayne, and also kids from the south side of Belize City. So purposely we are doing this, and we have our cadet band that is here ready to play some Christmas songs.
Partnering with the unit this year was the British High Commission. Deputy High Commissioner Kate Reynolds says that this Christmas activity is special for the children in the communities in which the police serve.
Our approach said, would we like to help? So at the High Commission, we've been able to buy some gifts, had a lot of fun wrapping those and be able to give those back to the children. So that's been our role. We've been able to donate some money, buy some gifts and give those and really take part. And this is brilliant. This is so lovely to be able to come and be part of this today.
Taiwanese Ambassador David Kwan Chow Chien says that Belize has always been an ally and partner, and the relations between both countries include economic development and education. So it was no hesitation to support in this community policing initiative.
Christmas is the season of peace, love, and appreciation. It's also the time of giving and gratitude. So Taiwan is the faithful and the trustworthy ally of Belize, and the children. Children are the hope of our future. So we are very glad to participate in these very meaningful events. And we also hope that our small sponsorship and a small donation could make a big difference for the children of Belize City, especially in the wake of Hurricane Lisa. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our appreciation to the government and the people of Belize for their long-lasting and staunch support for Taiwan.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.